one and only home that we have. Sweet Liberia, land of liberty is our home. Let us keep it standing. It's the one and only home that we have. Sweet Liberia, love is all we need to make it stand. Let's celebrate and have a peaceful home. Love is all we need to make it stand.
Ever mentioned groups in Liberia, members of the Fourth Estate, we'd like to welcome you to this daily press briefing of the Runoff 14 November 2023 presidential election in Liberia. Without much ado, let me introduce to you the chairperson of the National Elections Commission, Madam Devietta Brown-Lansanan, who will address this briefing. Madam Chairperson.
Distinguished stakeholders, fellow Liberians, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you to the headquarters of the National Elections Commission and to the Presidential Runoff Election Day edition of the Commission's daily press briefing. Members of the press, the National Elections Commission is pleased to report that voting began this morning, 14 November 2023, across Liberia, and reports available to the Commission indicate that most of the polling places opened on the scheduled time of 8 in the morning. The polls have generally progressed well throughout the day across the country, and they will close at 6 p.m. tonight. Vote counting will begin immediately following the close of the polls. Members of the press, the Commission also reports that while voting is progressing well generally across the country, there were a couple of noteworthy challenges that the Commission took actions, including the issuance of a press release and live radio call-in shows to mitigate the situation. One of such challenges is that some party agents were demanding the polling staff to read out the names of voters prior to voting so that the voter is identified in the final registration roll, FRR, in possession of political party agents. The Commission clarified that this is against the polling and counting procedures, and it had the propensity to expose voters to undue scrutiny by unauthorized persons, thereby jeopardizing the protection of voters. Such action also compromises the secrecy of the voting process. In correcting this challenge, instructions were sent to the magistrates, onward to the presiding officers, to their staff, to ensure that all polling staff involved in calling out voters' names desist from doing so with immediate effect. A second challenge was a rumor circulating on social media that pre-marked ballots were discovered in FOIA. The Commission termed the rumor as a fake news and a disinformation campaign that was intended to undermine the electoral process and discourage Liberians from turning out to vote. The Commission emphatically stated that it did not issue any instruction to pre-mark ballots for the ongoing presidential runoff election. Let me inform you that all necked ballots deployed to the magisterial offices and onward to the 2,080 precincts and 5,890 polling places remained intact for deployment to polling places. Members of the press, as we approach the closing of polls and begin the counting of votes, I urge all Liberians to remain peaceful and await the announcement of the results. Fellow Liberians, the Commission remains committed to ensuring that all votes count just as they were cast. In the meantime, the Commission informs the two contesting parties and observers that the tallying of votes will begin tomorrow, 15 November 2023, across the country, with Monserrato tally being conducted at the Ellen Johnson Sirleaf Ministerial Complex. Preliminary results will be read at the daily press briefings at 4:30 p.m. at the National Elections Headquarters beginning 15 November 2023. In closing, the Commission thanks all Liberians who turned out to vote today. The NEC also thanks the over 30,000 polling staff and the Commission's technical staff for their sacrifices. The Commission also appreciates the national security apparatus for helping to create the enabling environment for the conduct of the polls. The NEC is grateful to GSM companies for helping to create awareness for the 14 November polls. Many thanks also go to our stakeholders and observers. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson and members of the Board of Commissioners who will take questions.
Well, thank you, Madam Commissioner. My name is Aishin Diba and I report for KMTV. There is this concern, although you touched on it a bit regarding the issue of NEC workers announcing the name of people who are going to vote. But then the National Elections Commission also placed names at various polling precincts, indicating that those people are qualified to vote there. Now, there is this FRR from various political parties to include the CDC and the Unity Party. So to match that up, the party requested that the name be announced so that they can see who is voting to match it up. And you are saying it is not legitimate. What led to your statement terming that as illegitimate when you, in fact, the NEC placed the names of people on the various polling places? And two, why was the Monserrato County Tallying Center removed from SKD to the Ellen Johnson Sirleaf Ministerial Complex? Thank you.
Thank you for the question. If you listen keenly to my statement just read, I told you that we have the polling and counting procedures. And in fact, they're right behind you there. If you want to look there, you will see the process. In our polling and counting procedure, it does not say that the polling staff should call out the names of voters. But if we are all true to what happened today, and I will say something about it. One of the parties, through the agents, or several of them, carried the printed FRR to the voting centers and demanded the polling staff to read out the names of voters so that they could check on the FRR who the voters were. This is not part of our counting and polling procedure. This is not part of it. What that does, it puts the voter at risk, and we will not be part of it. The work the polling staff are supposed to do, when you approach them, they take your card, because your card has your name and all your details on it. They look into the FRR that is before them. When they find you, they give you your ballots and you go and do your voting. What was obtaining was party agents mandating electoral staff to use the FRR that was in their hands to identify voters. This is not part of our procedure, and we will not tolerate this. This is going too far. We are not going to surrender what the work is of the Elections Commission into the hands of political parties.
Why
Your second question, we use the SKD. This is a public facility, but we also pay for it. But the main issue here is, and I'm sure you have heard the announcement, the LFA has announced that there will be a game. I think it's on the 17th, either the 16th or the 17th, which means that the premises cannot be to our disposal. They cannot put the premises at our disposal because these are international games. Therefore, we talked to the management of the ministerial complex. They agreed, and this is where the Monserrato tally will be done. Next question.
Good afternoon, ma'am. My name is Moses Gaziru from the BBC. First, I want to know on what basis were the political parties given a FRR, if I might be a novice to that. My second question has to do with how sure Liberians can be that these elections on your watch and your Court of Commissioners will be free, fair, and transparent. I ask because it comes on the back of a series of misbelief. Last evening there were tensions, especially in District 8, when you were distributing election materials. Your staff were obstructed from distributing these materials. Some of them were returned to the Elections Commission offices. I don't know whether you deployed them early this morning. But how assured can Liberians be with this misbelief that there are foul play anticipated in these elections, that you and your Board of Commissioners will run these elections free, fair, and transparent?
You ask him many things in one question. So I will pick up the one that is strong. When we deploy materials, we deploy them to the precincts. From the magisterial offices, it goes to the precinct, and then from the precinct, it goes to the polling places in readiness for elections day. We say that we do everything we can, humanly possible, to ensure the credibility of this process, the integrity of the process. Nothing to the contrary will obtain. This board, firstly, we do not conduct elections. We plan the elections. Elections in Liberia are conducted by the very temporary staff. Some of your brothers, your sisters, your auntie, your uncles, your cousin. So if you don't trust them, then you're trying to say that we shouldn't trust them. But then again, no one is coming from Nigeria, from Ghana, from Sierra Leone to conduct these elections. And I don't want to say that you stuck with us, but Liberians is what we have to conduct a Liberian elections. So we got to have some kind of faith, some kind of trust, some kind of confidence. We should not allow some bad apples here and there. And mind you, if we find them, we'll bring them to you. Any bad apple that we find in the process, we'll bring them to you. But Liberians have to conduct this process. You have us. And we say we do our best to make sure that it's credible. We do our best to ensure that there's integrity of the process. And we want you to believe that. Anything to the contrary, my friend, is going to be difficult here. And I hope I answer your question. If not, you can restate.
The other one, reason for the FRR to the political parties.
Some time ago, we were here, and there was a lot of agitation from even you, the media. Why is it that we have not given the FRR to the political parties? We want to cheat, we want to do this, we want to do that, and all the kind of thing. We even provided the information as to the reasons, meaning that we had some delays in uploading the 2.4 plus million voters to the pen drives. Was giving us a bit hard time because the internet was slow. Still did not believe us. But I will say to you that by law, you correct me, my people, we are supposed to give local parties the FRR. And the background there is that for transparency of the process, so that they know who or the number numbers of voters that we registered. But today has proven that perhaps this is a mistake, because people take the FRR and they go to the polling places mandating the staff to use the FRR in the hand to identify voters. This is unprecedented, and we will correct it.
Yeah, good evening, Madam Commissioner. I'm Stigam Kamara, and I report for the Voice of Voiceless Online Television. Early this morning, two of your staff from Precinct Code Detective 34-7 in District Number 8 at the SDA campus were caught on their Facebook page saying that presidential election runoff begin today, vote number 2. And that your staff name is Aisha M. Belity, and the other one name is Rebecca F. David. But through our investigation this afternoon, we went there and we saw that Aisha was no longer more at the precinct, but Rebecca F. David, who is the VRO, is also there, and voting is going on. So we want to know what exactly happened. And secondly, in the same District 8, to the 8 Glen Tuckman High School, voters were given a ballot paper to go and cast their vote, and they get to know that the ballots were already marked, and that brought serious tension there. So we want to know how the situation is.
Firstly, I will say to you, I'm just hearing this. And if it was so important to you at the time, you probably should have contacted us. Because every information we get to the field, we either send the management team to address that situation, or we call the presiding officer or those on the ground to address the situation. However, this is accepted in that you have raised this to us and we will check. Next question.
My name is Tina S. Mempen. I report for the Daily Observer newspaper. A voter was arrested in District 10 with a nameless voter card. Have you received such report? If yes, how do you address that?
I'm just hearing this, and if it's something that actually obtained, this should come from the field to our offices and we'll address them.
Madam Commissioner, my name is Archie Boan, and I report for Today Liberia Television. Madam Commissioner, I want to know how far you have gone with the payment of temporary staffers. Because my concern is due to the fact that one of your staffers at Precinct 30078, that the Muslim Council headquarters on the Old Road, been reluctantly offering services to electoral voters who are making their way in to cast their ballot, like giving them their ear and not paying attention to them because she felt that she have not been paid for the first service rendered.
This is a big challenge for the Elections Commission in many ways, and you will bear with me. I will take about 5 minutes to explain it. When we recruit by way of online recruitment portal. In this way, we get the details of the temporary staff that we will be recruiting. Part of the problem for which some of them have not been paid now is they have been told that when you are applying, you make sure the mobile number, which translates to mobile money, that you will upload should be your own number, not your auntie, not your uncle, not your grandma, not your great-grandfather. This has been a problem with some and many of the staff. To compound this problem, when they are uploading, instead of uploading 0, they are uploading O as in the alphabet. 0 in the numbers is different from O in the alphabet. So when you send it through the system, including that of the GSM companies and even at the bank, it becomes difficult to read because in your numbering, you don't have numbers and alphabets. So there's something wrong there with literacy and capacity. The other issue is that we have electoral supervisors who are supposed to be supervising and ensuring that everything is all right, including ensuring that all of those who work will be listed, that is their name, and their mobile numbers on what is known as a payroll. That payroll comes to the magistrate's office onward to the finance section here. When it comes, there has to be verification of the name as well as the number. And where we have issues is this mobile number. Then of course, that verification goes back to the magisterial office. If there are problems, we send it back to the magisterial office for them to correct. All of which are things to do. And it's time-consuming. The problem beginning with the applicant or the temporary staff going to the electoral supervisors, then to the magistrate, then it comes to the finance section. That verification process is to ensure that those names are names that were listed, trained to work. If there's any discrepancy in there, it goes back to the magistrate's office. And part of the problem is also those who are captured in our recruitment portal, who are the applicants. Yes, some of them don't show up. And when they don't show up, again, we have to find other persons to do the work. In that process, it means that instead of the application going back on the recruitment portal, we have heard that there are difficulties because of the time limitation. So some of these applicants do not get in the portal. They come directly because of time constraints. We don't want the gaps there, so we accept them when others do not show up. The payment issue and the processes for preparing payroll is a hindrance to early payment of these people. So we are working on it. I'm telling you, it's difficult. Even sometimes when I'm thinking about it, my eyes turn. Very, very difficult process. Yes, but we're working on it. So the lady who did not get her pay, we can assure her that she will get her pay. We're doing everything we can. They have been coming here in the last 4 days, agitating in the yard. They cause a lot of noise, a lot of stir. We carry them, we process them, we explain to them what the problems were, including the fact that one of the GSM companies that's supposed to pay by mobile money has difficulty in doing that. And then some of the banks that we send the payment to, the volume, numbers, 30,000 people, has been very difficult for the banks to process. So the lesson we learned is that instead of carrying this payment process to a few of them, we will spread it out as much as possible. And those whose mobile numbers are correct, we have paid them already. It's just this last group that has the issue because of all of these different things that I have named. So if you know this young lady, please tell her that the Elections Commission will pay her. And if she doesn't get paid in a few days, she can please come here, come to the finance section, field coordination. They will work with her for her to get her pay.
Yes, Madam Commissioner, this is just a follow-up to what you stated. What about those who receive like 65 LD as or compensation to their pay? Because there are many of them, like, it was like about, I don't know if it was an error or what, 65 LD as their pay. So is it a technical error as well?
I don't know whether it's a technical or whatever error, But the commission has not paid any temporary staff 65 LD. We have meal tickets. And those meal, hello, hold on. We have meal tickets that even now they are going around and paying the meal tickets. What is the salary? I think it's about $60 the least, and I think it's clerk. The highest is about 300 to 350. And these monies will go through mobile money. I tell you, the commission has graduated. We will not pay any temporary staff physical cash. We will not do it. We use the GSM companies through the banks to pay the staff. Because paying physical cash, I serve as a commissioner. You leave from Monrovia and you put all that cash on you in boxes and you get there to pay these people. It has been a problem. Liberia now has moved on. So all of these difficulties, their challenges, we challenge them to and correct them. We are not going to pay anybody by physical cash anymore.
Thank you, Madam Commissioner. I'm Sarah Costi, Marriage Union, and report for Jalas TV. I'm concerned about yesterday in Lofa County that led to riot between economic freedom fighter of Liberia. They arrested a guy with a ballot box marked number 2 and turned over to the Liberian National Police. Has that reached your commissioner? If yes, and what's your position on that?
I'm not sure I even heard about this. But let me tell you, we need more information from you on this so that we can address it. Yeah, I'm talking to you. Sorry. You know, when I talk like this, then sometimes you'll get offended. But when you ask your question, you follow up.
We have it circulating on the internet. My reporter had the press conference with economic freedom fighter yesterday.
I don't know about any press conference with economic freedom fighter making allegations about these things. But I'm saying if you got the information, make sure you contact us after here so we'll be able to follow up. That's all I'm saying.
Thank you,
So
Madam
let
Commissioner.
me tell you something. Today, and like every other elections, hundreds of Liberians, they make it their business. When they are going around and see things, they are texting us. I am answering to almost anything. All of us here, we receive information from a few. So you don't have to be a specific person in a specific position to send us information. As soon as you send us that information, we send it to the different staff, whether that's here or at the magisterial level, we send it and we demand a report on those messages that we send to know whether things are going well. So you can do the same, please. Next question.
Thank you, Madam Commissioner. I'm Nelson Collet, and I report for the Spoon Network.
Spoon. Spoon. Did you bring a bowl? Because when you got a spoon, you got to have something in the bowl to
I brought a
eat.
very big bowl.
Well, make sure that we're in our bowl, that is a real bowl, that is real thing.
Indeed, it's
Just
a real
put in your
bowl.
legs. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you very much. Before coming here, as I went around to other centers and from some of the reports we received as well, there was one report from District 16 and also District 10, respectively. District 10 is precisely at the Belter Cathedral about pool washers from a specific political parties being put out by another political party, and that led to a bit of tension. Even as we speak, at the Belter now, there's a serious tension. Their voting is not going on. Specifically, according to the reports we've gathered, some folks from the CDC put pool washers from the Unity Party out, and that led to some sort of commotion. Same thing in District 16. Has that been brought to your attention? If so, how do you intend to address some of those issues, given that every single time in this particular process, count and pools are supposed to be closing by 6? That's one. And my second concern, let me just squeeze it in quickly. When I came in, I heard you addressing the issue with respect to the pool washers, the temporary staff, their payment, and all of that. Just before getting here again, as I went to cast my vote, where I voted I came across the pool washers having some serious debate. They were saying that they've not received their pay, they've not signed contracts, and because of that, they are not going to be counting. Madam Commissioner, how do you intend to address this issue, given that election is very crucial?
Let me say to you that we appeal, firstly, we appeal to them to count. We'll also appeal to them that we will pay them because they are registered with us. So we pay them. That's not an issue. When we're doing everything we can to make sure that we pay them. We are part of the problem. They are part of the problem. The magistrate and the electoral supervisors are also part of the problem. When we tell you, use the recruitment portal, and it shows the different fields that you're supposed to upload information, put information there, because we need that information to prepare your payrolls and down the line. So please tell them that we'll pay them, and they can please continue what they were doing.
Location of a polling place.
You talk about in District 10, where you say poll watchers were put out. Let me tell you, the National Elections Commission has a rule that, or procedure, that poll watchers or party agents can enter the polling place or the polling station to observe what is going on. This is square. This is on the ground. This is what we see. If they are to be put out because of whatever reason, it is the National Elections Commission that will take that action. Anything to the contrary is out of order. And if this happened there, as you are saying, then of course the electoral supervisors and all of the different staff at some management level should take action to make sure that this does not obtain there. Next question.
Ma'am, just a follow-up. Moses again, just a follow-up. I listened to you responding to the last question, and you were asking that if you have any information, you can inform the NEC authorities, and redress will be requested from whoever is responsible. So I'm concerned, do you have a hotline? Do you have a communication channel that the public or even the media can be able to reach you when they observe that there are malfeasances at locations where elections activities are taking place?
I will say yes to you. We have hotline. I can't quote the hotline here, but I know it's been posted on the website for as long as more than 2 months. We even read it here at some point. So maybe later on we can give it to you because it's not in front of me. Is that okay? Okay. Surprisingly, even during that time, when the hotline was being read here, how many of you used it? Anyway, that's no excuse. We'll make it available.
Thank you. Once again, I'm Aishin from KMTV. The last time in October.
Just 1 minute. You're taking this from on the website, right? Yeah. All right. It's on the Facebook, NEC Facebook. So the numbers are? The hotline. The numbers are 077-920-6464. That's one of them. 0-555-760-636. The other one is 0-779-20-6465. And the last one, 0-555-760-655. So at least if you don't get the rest, you can get one. So I will read one more. 0-779-20-6464. Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you. So the last time you were here in October, and I asked you this question regarding the total number of unused ballot papers that were actually left behind by the NEC, and you say you were in the position to give the total figure, and it's been almost a month now, so I'm hoping that you can update the public with the number of
and even
unused
after a month,
ballot
just
papers.
reminding me, with all those things that we had to do, even today, I can't give it to you. It means, yes, it means now that I have to ask the operations. So, pin me down tomorrow. You were saying that the total unused ballots from the first, I hope this will be possible, because that can be difficult. Yeah? It might be difficult to do, but I will still ask them anyway, and I'll tell you what the result is, yeah? All right, thank you. So we'll take another 2 more, then we'll call it a day.
Any?
Madam Commissioner, a follow-up to my question on the nameless card. So this has raised
Say
some
what? The nameless?
Yes, card.
Go ahead.
This has raised some questions on how many more nameless cards are yet to be identified, and this could also lead to a loophole in the runoff election.
I don't know about nameless cards. What I do know, and what the commission knows, is that it issued biometric voter registration cards to 2.4+ million registrants. And up to now, I've not seen or heard that there were nameless cards. And if there were nameless cards, it meant that this would have been through our exhibition process for it to be corrected. So we call for exhibition for all the noise that people caused. It was only, I think, 1,000 plus Liberians went to the exhibition. Can you imagine? From 2.4+ million, only 1,000 Liberians went to the exhibition. We wasted all that money to open all of the centers, only for this to happen. So we don't know about nameless cards. Really? Any one of you here know about nameless cards? Have you seen it? But it would be interesting if you had some nameless cards. Perhaps you can come back to the commission. Let us see them. You bring these nameless cards, let's see them. So first they will establish whether in fact these are NEC biometric cards. That will be the first establishment that I will have to take. And if they are not, then you got to bring the person who you took them from, because now you're going to the LMP for having cards in your hand that were not issued by the National Elections Commission. The last question.
Yes, thank you so much, Madam Commissioner. This is just a recent and fresh information out to you from the angle of the Unity Party. Recently, a minute ago, the Secretary General of the Unity Party released a press statement as regards to your press statement released hours ago pertaining to the FFR. And please permit me to just quote a few paragraphs from their release.
Yes, go
the
ahead.
UPC's NEC's decision as an affront and a total disrespect to sections 5.4 and 5.6 of the new elections law, which requires that voter entering a polling place should state his or her name to the voter identification officer. NEC in a meeting with UP and CDC promised to enforce this law. How can you reconcile with this statement relates to your press release of recent?
Firstly, I will say to you that the Elections Commission did not approve any MOU, because we've been hearing it. No MOU between any political party that you have named with the Elections Commission has been viewed, neither has it been signed. So that is a lie. I'm sorry, I have to say it that way. At no time. But I will tell you what happened. We get a letter from the Unity Party, as well as a letter on similar issues from the CDC. And our process in the political section, are you listening to me, please? Yes. We called them to a meeting just to brainstorm on to know what they wanted and how this could be handled. They agreed that they were going to do an MOU. But guess what? One person decides to say yes, the other person decides not to show up. Now, is that MOU before the Elections Commission? It's not before us. Because if you make a request to the Elections Commission and you decide that you're at the political party level, you will decide something and send it to the Board of Commissioners, and you decide not to send it, then we take responsibility for that. It's your version of what to tell them. Well, let me tell you, we create this, we create the enabling environment to dialogue. Yes, we have rules, we have regulations. We have these procedures already in place. And most often we will not bypass what our procedures tell us. But we listen when people have concerns. And these concerns were listened to. The problem is, just how they don't trust us, they don't trust each other. I'm sorry. Is that the end of this meeting? Thank you very much. We'll see you at 4:30 tomorrow.
Thank you very much for coming, members of the press, international and local partners, election observer, missions. Thank you very much. We'll be here tomorrow once again. Thank you very much again.
My heart honor there.